Alhamdulillah, salatu wassalamu ala rasulillah. Amma ba'd, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. I remember when I first started delivering lecture, it was in Bradford area in the UK. So in that time, it was just before that, I have spent about 8 years in Syria. Obviously, the culture in Syria and the culture in the UK is totally different. But I'm used to that Syrian culture, and normally they do not look toward the ladies' side. And even when they speak to the women, they never look at their face, but they look aside, you know. So that was the habit that I was used to. So then I was invited for the lectures, and they used to do like partitions, and on one side women, and on the other side men. So then, during my lectures, I would only look at the brother's side, man's side. And then I remember some of the ones, it was a lecture about fiqh as far as I remember. And then complaint came. The complaint to the organizers came saying that Sheikh does not respect us. Why? Because he always speaks to the brothers. It was, that never was the intention. It was just because I never knew what is their culture. So I thought because they made like partition, so that's how I'm supposed to be then. Understand? Yeah, so that's, so I'm really sorry because I don't know what is your culture in here. Yeah, so that's why a bit strange, yeah. So really sorry for that. Okay. So anyway, welcome to our session about the Islamic herbal medicine. So there are few important points that we need to first discuss before we start studying the, you can say, the text of Ibn Sina about Islamic preventative medicine. Okay? So anyway, now it's my question to you. If you can help me, what is the meaning of Islamic medicine? Islamic herbal medicine. And what is the meaning of prophetic medicine? So when we say prophetic medicine, is it the same as what we call as Islamic medicine? So is it two names of the same subject, or is it two totally different subjects? Anyone can help me, please? But look, depending on your answer, I'm going to ask you another question. So, be ready.
We try.
Yes?
Maybe.
So then you should look on one side, so then I can write a complaint against you. Yeah? Anyone can help me, please? Yes?
Is prophetic medicine things that the prophets have some directly gave us?
Excellent. And Islamic medicine?
Is what's developed through
Afterward.
over time.
So it is something like a Hanafi fiqh. So there is hadith, but then there is interpretation of the scholars. Something like that, isn't it? Okay, yes. Someone else that wants to comment?
I thought maybe it should be the same because
Okay.
it's different from the prophets.
Yeah.
So
Okay, that's fine, yeah. Okay. Any other comments, please? Okay, prophetic medicine is totally different subject. But I do agree with both of you. From your point of view, both of you are right. But in its essence, it is two different things. I agree with you that both of them are coming from some of the prophets. Islamic herbal medicine is coming from Prophet Sulaiman alayhi salam. And another prophet who used to be in ancient Egypt. Two prophets. Okay. Did Rasulullah alayhi salam contribute to the Islamic herbal medicine? I say no, never. But what about the prophetic medicine? I do believe that Rasulullah alayhi salatu wasalam had a medicine. Okay, set of principles which used to cure the illnesses. But it is lost. It is lost subject. Okay. I will give you the differences between the Islamic medicine and prophetic medicine. There is big difference. Okay, so that is one thing. So let's not confuse it. Okay, and the second issue, we know the difference between homeopathic medicine and allopathic medicine, don't we? Who knows what's allopathic medicine and what is homeopathic medicine?
We use it.
Sorry?
We use it, but yeah, allopathic is more chemical based.
Chemical, okay.
And homeopathic is more natural.
More natural bit, okay. Obviously, the homeopathic medicine is created in Germany. Yeah, so about 300 years ago. Before that, did it exist? Not in the written history. Maybe in the prehistorical period, maybe. Some ancient Egypt or something. But in the known history, it is created about 300 years ago in Germany. So what is the allopathic medicine? Allopathic medicine cures by opposites. For example, I have a patient who is cancer patient. So according to our medicine, cancer, it is cold and dry illness. So allopathic medicine will cure the cancer patient by hot and wet remedies. Allopathic. But what about the homeopathic? Homeopathic medicine will treat the illnesses by the similar remedies. So if illness is hot, so they will give you a hot remedy. If illness is dry, so they will give you a dry remedy. In allopathy, it is opposite. For the cold illness, they give you hot remedy. For the wet illness, they will give you dry remedy. So opposite. Okay? So understood the concept of the homeopathy and allopathy. So, but does it depend on the substances that we are using? So let's suppose that allopathy, it is when you are using chemicals. Does it matter? It does not matter. It's very possible that it is homeopathy and they're using chemicals. The most important thing is, are they curing your illness by opposite or by similar? So that is the main thing. But what they are using does not really matter. So it's very possible that I will treat you on homeopathic way, but by chemicals. It's very possible. Okay, do you know synthetic vinegar? Synthetic vinegar. Okay, chemical, and that is hot and dry. Someone comes to me with cancer, so I will treat him by chemical synthetic vinegar. So that is allopathy, even though if I'm using the chemical. And also, if someone comes with hot migraine or hot palpitation, and I will give him hot chemical vinegar, so that is homeopathy. So the substance and remedy that I'm using, if it is chemical or natural, it does not really matter. So it's very possible that the way, style of the treatment that you're using, it could be homeopathic, but the substances that you're using, it's chemical. Understand? So that is the homeopathy and allopathy. Now my question to you. What is the nature of the Islamic herbal medicine? Is it homeopathic or is it allopathic?
Allopathic.
Who said it? Why?
Because it's treating with opposites.
Does not make sense. No, does not make sense.
Sorry, what did you say?
No. Islamic herbal medicine, is it homeopathic or is it allopathic?
Allopathic,
Why?
because it's treating with opposites.
No, does not make sense. Anyone wants to disagree with her?
If I have a hot illness, you give me something cooling.
No, I already said that you are wrong. Now I'm expecting the right answer. So anyone?
No.
Okay. Okay, excellent. So the Islamic medicine, which is in its essence, it is ancient Egyptian or ancient Greek medicine, it is allopathic medicine. So we cure the patients by opposite to their condition. Okay. So now, because we spoke about the prophetic medicine also, so what do you think? What was the nature of prophetic medicine? Was that allopathic or was that homeopathic? Why?
Because, for example, Prophet was eating dates.
Yeah.
He was eating cucumber with it, or watermelon,
Okay.
to reduce the heat of the date.
And that is allopathy.
Well, it's kind of.
So in that case, he was curing the watermelon.
No,
No, well, you are saying that he was killing the cold of the watermelon, so condition which is called in the watermelon, with the heat of the dates, feeding it.
Or the other way around.
Or so it was curing the watermelon with the date and curing the date with the watermelon. Yeah?
No, it's making it more balanced in the body, more than in the body.
No, but was he ill?
No.
So we're talking about the illness. About the illness and not the like a mizaj of the herbs and the foods, you know? Yeah? Okay, so what was the medicine, prophetic medicine? Was it allopathic or was it homeopathic? Sorry? So then it's homeopathic. Why? Because you have to answer, understand? So it's not that yes or no and then running away. If it's yes, so then why yes? If it's no, so then why no?
Well, as you explained that if it's not.
So then you give hadith saying that he was eating watermelon with another watermelon. Yeah? Okay. So there where we see the clear difference between Islamic medicine, which follows one of homeopathy or allopathy, with prophetic medicine, which does not follow any. There was another technique, because right now we think that any type of treatment should be either allopathic or homeopathic. But actually, Prophet ﷺ, he had different technique. You understand? So because we have examples in which it looks like that it is allopathic. Do you remember when Rasulullah was dying? High temperature. What he was doing with his body?
Showering.
Excellent. He was ordering Sayyidah Aisha to bring cold water and to pour on him. Do you remember? That's our way, allopathic. Killing the heat with the cold. Okay? So then we can say that it is allopathic. Look, clear example of killing the heat with the cold. But hang on, isn't it that Rasulullah when he came once to his house, he saw Sayyidah Aisha, okay, used to treat, and do you remember these glands? Yeah, so Arabians, what did they used to do? They used to pick up, do you know that bandage? Do you know the material that we use for the bandage? They would rub their fingers and they would squeeze the glands. Okay, so there was a lady brought her daughter, to Sayyidah Aisha, and Sayyidah Aisha was doing that, and child was crying. Rasulullah after the namaz, after the prayer, came in and then he said, why are you killing your children? Isn't it that in the custos there is a cure for this? Inflammation of the glands, it is hot illness. Indian custos is also hot herb. Some of our herbalists say that hadith is fabricated because if you use the custos, because Indian custos sometimes may reach in the heat the end of 3rd degree. It is almost poisonous heat. So the herbalists say if you use the custos for the inflammation of the gland, it will kill the patient. But Rasulullah is prescribing that. So is it homeopathy then? It's a clear example of the homeopathic technique. Do you understand? So we say, so from these two hadiths, when we compare them, we understand that there was another alien technique. So it's not opposing the illness or doing it exactly on a similar way. But there is another technique. Okay? So now question, what is that technique? So we have to say it is so pity that we don't know. When Rasulullah ﷺ passed away, scholars have focused on the theological side of the knowledge of Rasulullah ﷺ, or fiqh side, or tafsir, and all of these subjects of Islam, which is famous now. But the scientific, prophetic sciences, scientific, imperial knowledge of the Prophet Muhammad was totally ignored. So we had the top scholars in theology who brought the narrations which are related to the theological points, testing them and setting up a foundation and principles. Also we had the fuqaha, jurists, who brought the ahadith, the narrations related to the fiqh about halal and haram. Okay, for example, within Hanafi school of thought, we have nearly 1 million mas'ala about halal and haram within Hanafi school of thought. But how many ahadith that we have about halal and haram? Who knows? Only 3,000 hadith and 500 verse from Quran. So then how is it possible to extract 1 million mas'ala? Do you understand? So they tried their best to squeeze out as much as they could. Okay? And in total, how many ahadith about the prophetic medicine that we have? Who knows? Only about the cooking we have over 250 hadith. Only about one thing, about cooking. We have ahadith about Sina, Makki. We have ahadith about kustus. So we have so many ahadith related to the prophetic medicine. But do we have top herbalists who brought all of them ahadith and tried to make sense, to work out what are the principles, medical principles, that Prophet was using? Do we have anyone? No. So prophetic medicine is lost. As soon as Prophet died, prophetic medicine is totally ignored, neglected. Yes.
Sheikh, did they also authenticate these ahadith about cooking? Because 250 is a lot.
Yes.
And all the other hadith about they also did the same work.
They, unfortunately, our scholars, they only worked with these medical ahadith from the aspect of halal and haram and from the aspect of aqidah. But we don't need that. What we need is very well experienced doctor trying to work out what are the principles and techniques that Prophet was using. So, by using them, we would establish the full institution of prophetic medicine. Do you understand? So, for example, now we have prophetic institution in fiqh called Hanafi school. Another one called Maliki school. As well as we have prophetic institution related to the theology. One is called Ash'ari, another called Maturidi, one is called Mu'tazili. Do you understand? But do we have prophetic institution which is called prophetic medicine? No. Now only, unfortunately, we have these few practitioners here and there. Okay, they will be doing only very small number of things. Things to do with the dates, because Prophet praises it, cooking, leeches therapy, and few other things. So just specific ahadith, which are related to the specific way of treating, only just for one illness. But we do not have the full establishment which explains why leeches therapy did work in that specific illness which is mentioned in the hadith. So can we expand the same technique on some other illnesses maybe? So what was the technique of the Prophet? There is no answer. But what about all of these Muslim giants? Okay, we have Ibn Sina, we have Abu Bakr al-Razi, we have Ibn Nafis al-Qarshi, we have Kindi, we have so many Ibn Haytham, giants of the medicine. They were doing ancient Greek medicine, what is now called as Islamic medicine. So prophetic medicine, unfortunately, is lost. It is lost. But no stress, because even the ancient Greek medicine is also prophetic medicine. So if it's not from our Prophet Muhammad, so it is from Jewish prophet Sulaiman alayhi salam, who is also our prophet. Understand? Okay. Rasulullah alayhi salam describes how it used to be. He says that Prophet Sulaiman alayhi salam, once he was praying, and all of a sudden, that plant in front of him started speaking, saying, my nature is XYZ, and I cure XYZ. So Sulaiman alayhi salam broke his namaz, and he called his servant to bring pen and paper, and he started writing it down. Okay, so do you know this ayah which mentions that Prophet Sulaiman alayhi salam, he knew the language of the birds. Do I have scientists among us? Do I have any? So I do believe that birds somehow central located in the nature. So knowing the language of birds would qualify you knowing the language of everything. It's my guess. Okay, so anyway, because isn't it that Allah says, وَعَلَّمْنَاهُ مَنْطِقَ الطَّيْرِ, we taught him the language of the birds. And all of a sudden, so therefore, he was holding conversation with what? With ants. So if you taught him bird's language, so then how come? So because knowing the language of bird will qualify you knowing the language of everything else too. Understand? So it is something. So because of that, he was also speaking to the plants. Okay, and don't forget that Pythagoras is the friend and direct student of Prophet Dawood alayhi salam. So we can link the Greek civilization, okay, with the chain of Jewish prophethood. Okay, but also it is also practiced the same allopathic way of 4 elements practiced in ancient Egypt also. So I do believe that it is not only taken from Jewish prophet, but from ancient Egyptian prophets also. It's my guess. Or also it could be Prophet Yusuf alayhi salam, because he was quite knowledgeable prophet also. So maybe it is somehow. So anyway, so all of the ancient medicine, all of them are coming from one of the prophets. Okay, or else, can you give me any other logic explanation for the source of medicine? Okay, so let's doubt that medicine is brought by prophets. Let's ignore that. Let's say that it is a group of atheists. They say no, it's not from prophets. So then give me another rational explanation of the source of the medicine. We have millions of plants and we have tens of thousands of illnesses. So if we follow the experimental way to find one of these millions of illnesses, testing for each of the tens of thousands of plants, or other way around, so how many years, how many billions of years do we need to find a cure from the plants to be used for the illnesses? Irrational. So there is only one and only rational explanation for the source of medicine. It's only from God through the prophets. Okay? I remember Ibn Sina says, the one who does not study medicine does not have perfect certainty, believe. I think this is one of the explanations of what he said. Okay, so when you start practicing the medicine, and when you see how plants are effective to cure the illnesses, so you come to certainty that there is prophet behind it who was taught only by God. There is no any other rational explanation. Okay, so anyway, so now I hope that everyone understood that Islamic medicine is totally different to the prophetic medicine. It's 2 different things. Even though we may share the common, some small, you can say, treatments. Cupping, Prophet used to do it, we also do it. But how he used to do it is slightly different. So for example, in our medicine, cupping on the head, when it will be permissible. in very specific conditions. But when you go back to the prophetic medicine, it's just very easily available there. Nearly everyone does on his head. But in our medicine, it is warned, it is prohibited, except under very strict conditions. If you follow the hadith, you don't find these conditions in there. Understand? So, on the same way, Prophet ﷺ used to do the Sina. Okay? So, what he was using it is different to what we use, even though it is the same plant. Okay? So, that's why when you find Rasulullah ﷺ prescribing some certain plant, which is also used in Islamic medicine, you should not confuse that both of them are same. No. Same plant, but different technique, which is used. Okay, so that is about that one. Okay, next question. So the next question. Okay, so now when we know that there is difference between prophetic medicine and Islamic medicine, so let's try to find out a bit more about the Islamic medicine. How does it work? Islamic medicine, well, ancient Greek medicine, it works on the basis of elements of your body. Okay, so we believe that the human body is created from 4 ingredients, from 4 liquids. Okay, each of them has got 2 classifications. So we have a blood, okay, and we have phlegm. What is phlegm? Phlegm is not burnt blood. So when blood is raw, we call it phlegm, and when it is burnt, we call it blood. Okay, and the finest blood, we call it yellow bile. Okay, and when blood is actually burnt, we call it black bile. So the entire body is constructed, made, designed from these 4 elements. So, depending on that, based on that, the definition of illness according to us is disbalance of these 4 elements. Disbalance of 4 elements means illness. Okay, so that is one important thing. Another important thing is we have something, the most important thing in our medicine, called mizaj. Who can explain the meaning of mizaj? Temperament. I think everyone heard of these words, mizaj. And do I have anyone who can explain the meaning of mizaj, please? Anyone?
How you feel?
How you feel? Yeah. Have you been in Arabian countries?
Yes.
Yeah. So in modern Arabic language, if they say mizaj, so it is how you feel. Yes.
It's what you want.
Yes, it's contemporary Arabic language. Yes, but in technical medical language, mizaj means something different.
It's like food-wise, you're asking? If in a food, a certain food gives you heat in your body,
Yeah.
a certain food gives you coldness in your body.
Yeah.
They got different mizaj.
Mizaj, of course, yeah.
That's
So-
another one.
So based on that, what is the definition of mizaj?
Properties of
Well, we said that there are 4 properties, isn't it?
yes.
And each property has got 2 classifications of mizaj. Yes, Eddie.
Isn't it the 4 temperaments, the basic temperaments you have?
Yeah. So if you can explain what we mean by temperaments.
So it is like a composition. Perhaps it relates to the 4 types of blood. So some are
Yeah.
melancholic, some are
Yes.
phlegmatic. I don't know
Yeah.
exact names.
Yes.
It's like a mixture, mizaj.
Yes.
of
Okay.
your-
Yes. Okay. You did explain correctly. Yes. Mizaj is coming from the root of mazaja yamzuju in Arabic language. Mazaja means mixing. Okay, so you say mazajtul khalla bil ma'i. I have mixed the vinegar with water, mizaj. So mazaja, that is mizaj. Mazaja means mixing in Arabic language. And in our technical term, mizaj means when four elements mix with each other, it produces quality. That quality is called mizaj. The basic elements of the universe are four. So it is fire and water and air and soil, dust. So when these mix with each other, it produces two qualities. So that's what we call as mizaj. Okay. So based on that, when these four elements mixed in certain proportions and created a blood. So in blood we have two qualities. One is heat and the second is?
Moisture.
Yes, wet. Also, black bile, when these four elements, fire and dust, when they mixed with each other in certain portions and produced a black bile, so black bile has got two qualities. What are these two qualities, which we call as mizaj? What are they?
Cold and dry.
Cold and dry. And that's how yellow bile, what is the mizaj of yellow bile?
Hot and dry.
Hot and dry. So the last one is phlegm, which is mizaj is
Cold and wet.
cold and wet. So these are four elements of the body, and each element has got two mizaj, two classification, or two, you can say, categories of mizaj. Okay, so when these four liquids and four substances of your body will disbalance among each other, that's what we call in our medicine as illness. As illness. Okay? I think we'll have just short break because I think everyone is just a bit overloaded. Yes, Sadie.
Can I ask something? What's the relationship to the Indian, old Indian Ayurveda?
A good one. I never studied Indian medicine, so I cannot comment on it. But from what I know, they also believe in this type of hot and dry and etc. But is their technique of using heat and is it exactly as our way? I'm not really sure. But one thing I know, we also use some of the formulas from the Indian medicine, but only the ones which accord our principles. Because experiments may accord each other, okay, but we never use their techniques. Okay, so maybe the person who can answer your question is the person who knows both of these subjects. I know only the ancient Greek and not the Ayurveda and the Chinese also.
And do you know which Egyptian prophets you were talking about?
Quran is silent about that. Do you understand? And maybe Bible may give us some answer and etc. And so we can only go with the narrations, stories. But how much we can trust on the stories, especially where we follow the Ash'ari Maturidi creed, in which we do not take the stories into the theology. So that's why it's quite difficult. Okay? But the Quran is very explicit that in each single city there was a prophet, including ancient Egypt and everywhere else also. Yeah. So if Plato is right that we had Atlantis, so definitely there was some prophet also. And that crush happened as a consequence of them disobeying their own prophet. Allah. Yeah. Just 5-10 minutes break, please. Okay, so I can see everyone is overloaded. This training. I will pray. I will come back. Okay, so do I have any questions or any further clarifications needed? Yes, Sina.
Is it known when the prophet was asked advice, some prophet, did he always give the same answer?
You mean for the specific illness? I don't know. I couldn't recall any, but they could be. So it requires looking into the hadith collections of At-Tibb an-Nabawi. Obviously, the very first collection of At-Tibb al-Ahadith related to the medicine, it is written by his grandfather, Imam Ali Rida radiallahu anhu, and it was year 200 something, yes. So we need to go and look into that book. Sahaba used to come to complain about different illnesses, but do have two Sahaba complaining about the same illness, and Rasulullah would give different advices.
Well, if you say
I don't
there's
remember.
thousands of illnesses, maybe then it was not really the same. Maybe the symptom was the same, but
Of course, yeah. So there could be, but the symptoms which are considered to be symptoms in contemporary medicine are slightly different to our. Yeah. So for example, symptom, for example, migraine. So headache, it's any type of headache is one symptom in according to contemporary medicine, isn't it? But according to us, it could be different, yes. So there is cold migraine, there is dry migraine, so there are 4 different types of migraines, yes.
there could be a different answer then.
In our medicine. But what about the prophetic medicine? I cannot recall, so we need to look into it further. Really sorry for that. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, I have a question. If you feel better with the plant and all what you see for the health, and I feel healthy with all what I see with the insurance. What about you have to see only the person who called himself the insurance, and then you will never feel better. I feel better, but the person wants you to see him or her because he called himself or she, what you are feeling better.
Later, she can ask you later.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
There's no problem.
Yeah.
Like you have a good medicine and you feel better. What about if I am the doctor, I say that you have to see only me to feel better.
English is
Then
not
you
my
never feel
native.
better, I mean. You become only sick.
Yeah, it's a private question. She can ask.
Yeah. So that's what I'm trying to say. So the English is not my native language, so that's why I do not understand.
It's not hers either. It's not hers either. That's why I don't understand.
Oh, okay.
That's what you meant.
Okay. It's very possible. It is very possible that there could be 10 doctors, and there is one patient, and some of them may know the treatment, and some others may not know. It's very possible, and possible that all may know, or none of them may know. So it's very, all of them are possible. Yeah. Okay. Any other question? Okay. So further, we have several things to discuss. First of all, the definition of illness and what type of illnesses that we have in our medicine. The second is the patients. How many types of patients that we have? And then third is the treatments. What type of treatments that we have in our medicine. So these 3, you can say, key points in the medicine. So, illnesses. So when we understood the meaning of illness, the illness is disbalance of the elements of your body. So does it mean that we have 4 elements, so each of them should be 1/4 of your body? No. It never can be. It may kill you. But each of them has got minimum amount and maximum amount, which should keep you healthy. And lesser than minimum and more than maximum, it will make you ill. Okay, so for example, blood and balgam phlegm, them 2 should be the most. Okay, so it could be even up to 80% of your body. Okay, so 40% between blood and phlegm, but black bile and yellow bile together should be 20% only. But when, so it means it is 10%, 10%. So let's suppose that the healthy point of your body, because you are a fire person, that yellow bile should be 12% as maximum and 8% as a minimum. But when yellow bile becomes 5% in your body, you fall ill. Okay? Any type of cold illness, potentially cancer also. Okay? So means the definition of illness in your body is yellow bile falling lesser than its minimum portion, minimum required portion in your body. Understand? Okay, so then, and we have another, you can say follow-up definition of the illness. The follow-up, which is based on the first one, which I gave. So the dysfunction of one of the main organs in your body is called illness. Okay? So then, because I'm saying that dysfunction of the organ, okay, and that is following up. It is branch to the disbalance of 4 ingredients. So does it mean that dysfunction of the organ, it is some type of symptom to the real illness, and the real illness is disbalance? We say yes. Okay, so from here we understand that you have migraine, and the reason of migraine is let's say that your brain is not functioning properly. Okay, so the reason of the pain in your brain is in your brain. But the actual reason of that is in one of them 4 ingredients of your body. So if I want to treat you, me treating your brain, it is incorrect, but I have to be treating your, again, liver or spleen. Okay, so means the problem could be here, symptom could appear here, but the place of treatment could be somewhere else. And most of the time that is the case. Okay, for example, right now, it is quite popular, it's very widely spread to have skin conditions, eczema, acne, many things. And the reason for all of that is in the liver. Problem is in the liver. Either there is blockage, or either some part of the liver is damaged, or either for some reason, maybe it could be the passages of the liver are too wide, so the liver started producing one of 4 elements in more portion, in more quantity. And body is unable to comprehend it, and body is unable to treat it, so it will start throwing it all over, just to keep it away from the main organs. Okay, so that is, you can say, to do with the illness. Okay, and also keep in your mind, even though there are 4 types of ingredients of your body, but the illnesses in our medicine, the main illnesses are only 3. It's only 3 because it is main organs are 3. It is brain and heart and the liver. So each of them will come with big list of illnesses, skin conditions, okay, and the problems, failure of the kidney, okay, constipation, digestion problems, all of them will come back to be in the liver, okay, cancer, melancholia, all of the psychological illnesses, okay, so, or for example, shaking, okay, epilepsy, so all of them will come back to be the problem, the illness of the heart. And on the same thing, on the same way, we'll have big list of illnesses, and all of them are because of the dysfunction of the brain. So the entire institute, which is called illness, its foundation is only 3. But way of treating is 4, because of mizaj, 4 different types of mizaj. Okay, so it is something to consider. Okay, so that's why our medicine, ancient Greek medicine, in terms of principles and technique, it's smaller than contemporary medicine. Because In contemporary medicine, okay, each illness has got its own reasons and its own different treatments, isn't it? So it's very possible that it is infection. All infections are one in our medicine, for example. Okay, but in the reality, I will explain it. So let's suppose that infection. Okay, so there are 1,000 different types of infections depending on the type of bacteria which caused that infection. So for each of them, it's possible that in the contemporary medicine we may have different medicine, different remedy. Do you understand? But in all of the illnesses which is related to the liver, the way of treating is same, one. The difference could be only in the formula. And what is the meaning of formula? When I will talk about the herbs, I will explain in more detail. So the meaning of formula is effect of the herbs. Which effect you need first? Which effect you need first? But it's all the time same effects, but putting it in the right order. That's what is formula. But it's exactly the same. So over 80% of the illnesses of the liver treated by the same effects, but in different orders. Some of the effects should come before the other, and in different illness of the liver, the same effect which was first may come last. So formula may differ, but treatment is exactly same. Okay, so that is to do with the illness. Do I have any question? Is it going a bit complicated?
No.
Thank you for your honesty. I really love your honesty. I respect your honesty. Yes, Eddie.
Maulana Sheikh Nazim has a book with certain medicine for illnesses.
Yeah.
Have you read this book? It's a small book.
Sayyid Zakaria told me, I never knew that Sheikh Nazim has written. Yeah.
But I think it's based on people who has experience with illnesses, and they come to the Sheikh, ask him.
Yeah. Obviously, you know, we spoke with Sayyid Zakaria before that. In our path, in Naqshbandi path, khidmah of the creation, it is compulsory number one. So that's why, and the best ever khidmah for the people is removing their pain, regardless if it is spiritual pain or physical pain. So that's why our Naqshbandi mashayikh, for some reason, they're all the time attached to the medicine, any type of acupuncture, coping, herbal, just because of that. So you find quite a lot of them, they have got imla'a, dictations about the formulas. Okay, so you can find few actually from Imam Muhammad Farsa, and there are quite few, But do I have like a systematic explanation of how it works? Not all the time. Do you understand? So that's why it's very useful. Okay, but you have to first study the formula, the principles, and after that you can benefit from these books. Because our mashayikh normally they give the actual remedy, what to use. Okay, they may say yes, for you need cinnamon, 10 grams of cinnamon. Okay, but then to understand for which illness and under which condition this formula was dictated, for that you need to know the principles and basics of the medicine. Okay, because as I said, it's very possible that Sheikh Nazim, some murid came with migraine. Sheikh Nazim, just by testing the pulse, he understood that it is melancholic migraine. So then he gave hot remedy. But it's very possible that your migraine could be choleric, which is hot. So you taking that hot remedy may damage your brain further. If it makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Coming back to your point, in terms of not understanding, the biggest problem in terms of the medicines, the most luckiest person who studies our medicine is the person who does not have any background about any medicine. Because the human brain is very weak. It can only give interpretation based on the previous experiences. Understand? So if I will say to you, that plant is sweet, your brain straight away translates it depending on your previous experience. So sweet, what is sweet? Chocolate, honey, sugar. So if I will say to you that, for example, I will say to you, cinnamon is sweet. So straight away you think that it is sugar. But when you test it, it's not sweet. But in our medicine, when we say sweet, after eating it, after swallowing it, it gives taste behind your tongue. That is sweet. Understand? So your brain mistranslated the information. So the brain of human being has very limited capacity in terms of interpreting and translating the information. So that's why if you have good understanding of the contemporary medicine or homeopathy, and you come to ancient Greek medicine, and you will start reading their book, your brain will start translating it according to your previous experience of the chemical contemporary medicine. So your brain will misguide you big time. Okay? So that's why now I'm explaining, and because you have all of the definitions of illnesses, thank you. This addiction of the tea, it should go out, you know.
I have a question.
Yes, Eddie. Yeah, I'll come back to you. Yes.
So you're saying that each person has a particular constitution, different constitution or level, you know, with the humans.
Yes.
Does that mean that each person has a special treatment?
Yes, mashallah.
In that way.
Perfect understanding, Eddie. Yes.
And how do you determine the constitution of a particular person?
So we have to test. We have to test a lot of things, including his date of birth also, because we need to know during the pregnancy of his mother what are the possible properties that his body was receiving. So if he was born in autumn, so most likely his mother has eaten a lot of fruits. So it gives list of possible illnesses. You understand? So each of them. So because of this, in Greek herbal medicine, mass production of remedies, sometimes it could be problematic. Because it could be same symptoms, but different treatments, depending on the mizaj of the person and nature of the person, and the other things also related to that, yes. In terms of not understanding, shall we repeat everything from the beginning? So what are the parts that you did not understand?
It is not something with not understanding, but it's very difficult because there are so many things.
Yeah.
And it is, mashallah, very interesting, but to keep everything and to
It's
understand
too much, isn't it?
everything, it is very masters for me, sorry.
But the Sheikh is offering a course.
Yes, of course.
So who wants to learn more, they can sign up for the course. It's just an introduction, so we just take what you give us.
Yes, yeah. So please, if I have one weakness, which I admit, I use quite a lot of terminologies. Most of the time it's Arabic terminologies. So when I use it, I don't assume that I'm using it. So please stop me and ask me what it could mean. Okay, please. Yeah.
I have a question.
Yes, Eddie.
Is there any conditions or any type of patients that's not recommended to be treated with ancient Greek medicine?
No, because ancient Greek medicine, it was used for thousands of years for everyone. But what I can comment on your question is, there are some type of illnesses considered to be difficult to be cured or incurable. We do have that concept also.
Incurable for all kinds of medicine, or incurable?
No, for us.
Okay.
So, for example, it's very possible that, according to us, something is incurable, but Chinese acupuncture can cure it easily, and other way around also. So, because technique, even though the basics of any medical technique is revealed from God, but its expansion, it is done by human. So human effort all the time could be improved. So that's why I do not believe that there is one technique, medical technique, which can cure everything. I don't believe in it. Because it is created by human regardless.
And like the start of your treatment, do you use the usual tests and analysis, like blood test?
Yeah, but we have our own. We have our. We have our own way of testing. So in terms of diagnosis, what do we do? So first of all, we get as much as information we can in terms of what type of pains that he has, sleeping, okay, and food, digestion, and everything that we can. And then we read the pulse. There are 10 things which should be detected. So that's why it takes about 5 minutes to read the pulse. So it's not only the speed, but how long and how tight, how high, how strong. So there are 10 different things to be detected. And each of them will mean something. Each of them requires interpretation. Okay? And after that, we ask the patient to bring urine sample. Okay? And it should be the first one in the morning, with the condition that patient should not consume at night anything which would affect on the color of the urine. So not a lot of waters, because water makes the color very bright, and it is bright colorless, or the bright color of the urine. It is called illnesses, cancer and that type of illnesses. So it may misguide the practitioner. So you should, or for example, eating something which may color the urine saffron, or the preservatives, chemicals, because it gives very orange, strong orange, and strong orange urine. What does that mean? It means jaundice. It is the liver dysfunction. So it will mislead the practitioner also. So there are also we use the feces also, the poo, etc. And then breathing. Okay, the breathing, and then saliva. So we test all of that. Okay, but on our own way, not the contemporary. So we never send the blood or samples to the laboratory. We don't understand that. For us, does not make sense. Yeah. So for example, they have, deficiency of vitamin D. In our medicine, we don't understand what that could mean. Or deficiency of iron. So what is that for us? For us, that is nothing. We don't understand that. Okay, but so that is the thing actually. Yes. So deficiency of iron for us, it is phlegmatic illness. List of phlegmatic illnesses. Yeah, and then we give the treatment accordingly. Okay. Yeah. So did you get just a bit of understanding of the illness according to our medicine? Yeah. So means the illness, the root of the illnesses are 3. Because what is the meaning of illness? Illness is dysfunction of one of 3 main organs, which is caused by disbalance of the ingredients of your body. Understand? So the most popular illness, it is cancer. What cancer does? Cancer causes dysfunction of the major organs, liver, lungs, etc. But what is the real cause of that? The real cause of that is either it's the black bile increasing inside of your body, or the heat producing properties falling in quantity. So depending on one of them two, you dictate the remedy. So if it is extra amount of black bile, then you have to release black bile. You have to get rid of black bile from out of his body, because that is causing the cold. But if the reason of that is less amount of the hot properties, which is yellow bile and blood, so then you have to increase the blood or yellow bile inside of the body. But sometimes there will be side effect of the illness. So in the example of the cancer, so black bile will get solid and it will be stuck inside of your body. So just by releasing the black bile, you will release only the healthy black bile. But the ill black bile, which actually caused the cancer, it does not go out. So it means you have to destroy the solid parts of the ill black bile inside of your body, and after that you have to melt it and push it out. And the leftover parts, you have to digest it and convert it into the healthy black bile. Understand? Okay, so that is the illness. That is the illness. Yes, Sina?
How do you diagnose cancer? without laboratory parameters?
There are certain type of urine that cancer patient will produce, and pulse will be beating on some certain way, okay? And sleeping, it will be broken. The cancer patient will have some certain conditions of sleeping, digestion, and pain, so many other things, you know.
So it could be that you diagnose a person with cancer and the doctor says, no, there is no cancer at all.
Actually, what is called, I had few cancer patients, so what is called cancer, according to contemporary medicine, in our medicine, we do not call that cancer. It's not saratan. But cancer, that affects on the brain also. So person will start having anxiety and depression also. So not all cancer, what is classed to be cancer according to contemporary medicine, is cancer in our medicine. It is different. All of them are melancholic, yes, I agree. Most of them. But yet I found few cancer patients, and it was just phlegmatic growth. Phlegmatic growth is not serious. Person can live with it 100 years. It does not create any serious life-threatening. So it is a bit strange, say yes. Yeah, so not all, or maybe it's, so anyway, not all what is classed to be cancer is cancer in our medicine. Okay, most of it is melancholic, yes, but some, it is just phlegmatic growth. Phlegmatic growth, yes.
So what does it look like? It's like dried up phlegm?
It will be decomposed phlegm again. Decomposed phlegm. Decomposed phlegm, most of the time, it is local illness. For the cancer, we use the remedies for the liver as well as for the heart. But for the phlegmatic growth, we use mainly creams. We just melt it, okay, in that area, okay, and then after that we give the remedy to push it out of the body. But we never treat the liver and heart. But for the cancer, the Saudawi cancer, definitely you have to hit up the liver and heart, and only after that you can start treating the cancer. But phlegmatic is just minor illness. Yeah.
What about the relation between the emotion and the illness? Because as in the disqualification.
In our medicine, there is no difference. So in our medicine, we don't have some separate branch called psychology. All psychological illnesses, according to us, are physical. The reason of that is physical. Because each of them 4 properties of your body has got its own information. This balance of the healthy quantity of the properties, it will, the dominant element will dictate its own information. Okay, so the Safrawi people are brave. Okay, so they want to go, and so nothing stops them. Throw them into one cage with a lion, they will go and grill the lion, you understand? But melancholic person, put him into the same room with the mice, so he will be hanging on the candle, you know, you understand? Because melancholia, it dictates its own information. Anxiety, depression, suicidal voices, you know, Satan speaking, someone is trying to kill, 2 people are speaking, for him they are backbiting, you know, that melancholia, understand? And blood-dominated person, happy, all the time joking, traveling, selfies, I'm here, I'm there, blood. Phlegmatic, sleeping, you know, watching Tom and Jerry and sleeping there, you know, in the farm, you understand? Because phlegm dictates its own information. What is the information of 4 ingredients of your body? The information of the ingredients of your body, it is your mood. As it is translated as psychological status. Understand? So we don't believe in psychology. It is just side effect of the physical disbalance of balance or disbalance of your body. Understand? Yeah. So that's why if someone comes to me with depression, I will give him physical treatment, remedy. Yeah.
Even if it's gene related?
then we need to find out the definition of jinn, you know. Most of the time when we, you know, I do believe in the effect of the jinnat, it is in Quran, okay. Jinns interacting with the people is not as common as we think. It's very rare. Most of it is melancholic illnesses. Black bile dominating condition. But rarely it could be jinn. But then for that, our remedy, I don't think if it will help or not. Yeah, so for that we need ruqya. Yes. Yes.
I was very interested, you were mentioning, maybe it's a big topic, but this issue of cancer, so many people, it seems anyway, suddenly so many people are having problems with cancer. And you were mentioning that sometimes it's misdiagnosed.
No, I'm not saying that. No.
I misunderstood, yeah.
So, it is, even if it is accurately diagnosed, and it is cancer,
yeah.
But cancer according to the contemporary medicine.
Yes, okay.
Cancer in our term called saratan. But there are different types of saratan. We have saratan balghami, phlegmatic growth. And that is, as far as I know, is also considered classed as cancer in contemporary medicine. Do you understand? Yeah, as well as, so the life-threatening, which everyone's scared of, so that is saratan sawdawi. Only the growth which is related to the black bile. That is the one which can spread. Any other growth, regardless if it is yellow bile or decomposed blood or phlegmatic, it does not spread. Unless if your body will be unable to fight back. Do you understand? But even when it spreads, okay, so it will not be life-threatening. You understand? It just stays there and does not cause any harm.
That's, I was just wondering, because sometimes people, possibly with this condition, they're treated with a heavy chemotherapy or radiotherapy, and it's not necessary. Are you suggesting that?
I cannot comment that.
Okay.
I don't have knowledge of contemporary medicine. Yeah, so, but sometimes, for example, for the phlegmatic growth, chemotherapy is not needed at all. We need only local cream. Understand? We need hot cotton cream, local one. It can get rid of it. No any internal. Yeah. So I'm not commenting on the contemporary. I have no knowledge of the contemporary medicine. Yeah. Yes.
So in terms of this, you're talking about phlegmatic growth.
Yes.
Is that what a growth would be like? So if you have a lump in cancer, often there's a lump or a tumour of some sort. This phlegmatic growth.
Yes. Its ingredient will be phlegmatic, but
so it will turn into a solid.
sometimes it will be soft, but sometimes it will be tough one also, hard one also, and solid one. So it does not. So if it's phlegmatic, it does not mean that it's all the time soft one. So decomposed phlegm is all the time hard one, like a tough one, solid. Yes.
Yeah. The patients who have been following traditional, following the mainstream medicine, see success also when they start doing ancient Greek medicine?
Do you have Facebook account?
What?
Facebook account?
Yeah.
Just go to my Facebook page. Time to time I upload some patients who receive treatments of alternative medicine side by side or after maybe the contemporary medicine. So we get some feedbacks, positive feedbacks also, yes.
So it can be somebody who's been following the...
Yeah, but most of the time we advise that first you have to complete what doctors are telling you. Do not mix their remedy with our remedy, because it could be conflicting. Yeah. So for example, we have, do you know, preservatives in the foods. In my own experience, it is cold and dry. potential cancer actually. And also in the medicine, if it is some type of natural, so in order to keep it store it for about 2 years, they need some preservative, isn't it? So that may cool down your system. So if I am giving you hot treatment, so definitely that will abrogate the effect of my remedy. Because chemical remedy all the time stronger than the natural one. Because it is quicker. So, because for example, my remedy will work in your body, will treat your body for about 4 to 6 weeks. But contemporary medicine is quicker than that. You understand? So that's why normally I ask the patients not to mix it. First, just complete the treatment, and when it is done, then come back to me. Yeah. So, and because just to follow up, so it's very important that our medicine never fights against the illness independently, as contemporary medicine does. Okay, so for example, it's a very easy example to understand. So antibiotics, in order to kill the bacteria, how does it do? Does it kill it directly or not? So antibiotic hitting the bacteria, will it kill the bacteria? Yes. But my remedy, if I prepare based on ancient Greek medicine, it will, most of the time, it will not kill the bacteria. So if we just pick up that bacteria and place in this cup and place that antibiotic into the same cup, within hours bacteria will be dead. But the same illness which is caused by this bacteria, I will give you some herb, plant. So if I place the plant into this cup next to the bacteria, it may feed the bacteria actually. Bacteria does not necessarily die. Do you understand?
How do you produce it?
Exactly, because my remedy is supposed to back up the organ which is responsible to create ethers in which this bacteria cannot live. So our medicine, ancient Greek medicine, never fights against the illness directly, but it supports and strengthens the organ which is responsible to create anti-environment against that illness, if it makes sense. Yes, so that is the idea. So that's why most of the time, if you will be taking the chemical medicine, if you come to me and I will give you my majun, my remedy, my remedy may not work. You understand? Because of the nature of the medicine which you are taking and the remedy may not be according each other. Yeah, so that is a bit strange. Yes. Yes?
Will it influence your history of if you've taken, for example, a lot of contemporary medicine and then we treat it from you? Will it influence it if it's been a long time ago in the same way?
Chronic illnesses, isn't it? So we also have something called chronic illness, but our definition to the chronic illness is slightly different. So old illness in contemporary term is called chronic illness, isn't it? The old one, chronic illness. So for us, we have this concept, but the way of handling it is slightly different. So as far as I know, for example, many doctors told me, if that is their knowledge, I'm not really sure, they say the chronic cold is never curable. Okay, or chronic dysentery is not curable. So because that bacteria will live all over somewhere, you know. So we say there are 3-level herbs, plants. Okay, long distance plants and medium distance plants and long distance plants. The distance of your body, it is depending on the distance of the illness from your digestive system, from your stomach and liver. Okay, the most closest one, it is within your digestive system. So let's suppose that we have kidney failure. So what type of plants do I use? The first level plant. Okay. The short distance plant, it is a plant which can only effect in your digestive system. But if I will be curing your lungs by this plant, it will not work. Because your body will digest it before it will reach to your lung, if you understand what I mean. So, in order to cure the cold, for example, in your kidney, I need hot plant. Okay, do I need that long distance one? No, short distance one. But for your lung, I need medium distance one. But for your bones, that is the most further organ of your body, for that I need a hot plant of the long distance. So if I will use the hot, even the most hottest plant, cardamom for example, okay, for the cold, or for example, do you know the joint pains? Okay, so cold joint pains, if I use cardamom, it will never cure it. Because the effect, the cardamom, it is short distance plant. The effect of the cardamom, it will never reach to your bones and joints. For that, I need to add to cardamom some preservative, or either I have to choose another plant which is long distance plant. Understand? So in our medicine, we don't have something called old illness, but we have something called long distance illness. Because the old illness, normally it will be hidden in the most further organs of your body. Understand? The most further means it is the bones and nerves and these organs. Okay, so it will be hidden in those organs. So when we say old cold, in contemporary, chronic cold, for us it is translated as long distance cold. It is the cold which is hidden in your nerves or bones or joints. Understand? And is that curable? Yes, definitely. If you prepare the remedy by using only the long distance hot remedies, definitely it is curable. Only it could be that because even the long distance plants, it will start losing its strength as it is digested on the way. So the long distance illnesses normally cure in twice as much or 3 times more period than the short distance one. Understand? Yes. Yeah.
So if you're targeting the lungs, for example, it's immediate resistance, you have to go through the whole blood system, right?
Yeah. It is because lung is not far away from the digestive system. It's not far from the, yes, yeah. But bones, it is quite far. Okay? And some types of fleshes of your body considered to be far. Yes.
So, sorry, does that mean then that some plants, the long distance plants, are able to pass through the digestion and maintain property?
Yeah, but not as strong. As strong, it will start becoming weaker and weaker. So that's why it will need a bit long period.
So like more using it
for a longer time. So for example, there are some certain herbs. Mainly we use some certain oils because oil can protect the strength of the remedies, you know, the plants. Understand? So for that you have to make sure that it is just mixed properly. Also a bit complicated procedure. So you have to keep it under the most strongest sun, you know. So you know the chilla of 40 days of Saratan, which is now. Yeah, so you have to make sure that oil penetrates the remedy by keeping it in the most hottest season. Yeah, and not, for example, in the UK, because in the UK, even the most hottest season, it is cloudy. So for the length of either 20 days or either 40 days, depending on the nature of your remedy, if it's cold or hot, it should be under the open, direct sunlight, strong sunlight. That's how oil penetrates and it becomes preservative for the strength of your plant. Yes.
So if you're in the UK
There is no way of doing it. No, you have. No. It is sunlight. Only yes, only. And we have some, for example, for the canceric, melancholic illnesses, it should be direct moonlight. So again, cloudy place, not helpful. So either you have to travel to south of France or Spain or maybe Morocco, and I can see that even here it's not cloudy, isn't it? Yeah. So you have to keep it under direct sunlight or moonlight.
To extract the properties from the herb.
We don't say that, but it should penetrate. Sometimes we use the sunlight to make the plants to mix. Yes. So I don't know if we have a time or not. Each plant may affect on your body on 3 different ways, and you will choose which effect you need in this specific patient. Okay, so yeah, we'll talk about it now, inshallah. Yes.
Sheikh, in contemporary times,
yes.
if you go to the doctor often, they probably will say to you, well, you need a healthy lifestyle, which means go do some sport, exercise,
yes.
eat well, sleep well. And if you do these things, you won't get sick. Or less sick. So the question is, in the ancient Greek medicines, what advice do they give in terms of lifestyle? What are good lifestyle choices so you don't get sick and you don't need this medicine?
There are 4 different types of natures in the human. Definitely movement has to be there with each of them. Okay? But the healthy lifestyle, there are 4 different types of healthy lifestyle. Do you understand? So for example, consuming a lot of liquids, is it part of healthy lifestyle or not, according to contemporary medicine? Yes. But according to us, it is healthy for only 2 categories of people. In total we have 4. So for another 4, it is not healthy, it is unhealthy. Understand? Yeah. So a lot of movement, a lot of exercise, is it healthy or not? According to yes. So for us, there is 1 category, it is unhealthy for him. It will kill him. Understand? So healthy lifestyle is important, but definition of healthy, there are 4 definitions, depending on your nature. Okay, so let's suppose that you are choleric, so your healthy lifestyle is different to the phlegmatic. So for the phlegmatic, he needs to do a lot of exercise, but less amount of liquids. But for the choleric, it is less amount of exercise, but a lot of liquids, cold liquids. You understand? So depending on what is the meaning of healthy lifestyle, but it's agreed upon between all of the medicines that healthy lifestyle is must. But then what is the definition of healthy lifestyle? It depends on your nature. Yes.
It kind of connected to his question.
Yeah.
It's about modern life is totally different from how we
They
lived
used to
before.
go. Yes, yeah.
And so, also, there are many illnesses now that are widespread that maybe didn't exist before.
Definitely, yes, Sadie.
And
Yes,
it's related to the fact that we live in unnatural conditions.
Yeah.
The food.
Yes, definitely.
The lighting, you know.
Yes, definitely. And also, it's very important point that you are mentioning is very important. Do you want me to open my cigarette? But don't say it to anyone. So camera, don't say it to anyone. Yes. In the UK, in the UK, I use only 12 remedies. Because their lifestyle is similar. So they get similar illnesses. Entire UK is in one iqlim. One iqlim dictates similar type of illnesses. Understand? So in total we have hundreds of formulas and thousands of different remedies. So I'm not talking about formula, but I'm talking about the remedies, which is even lesser. Which may come back to be either 2 or 3 formulas. Okay? So I'm using between 8 to 12 remedies so far. Okay, so it is for the last about 5 years. Why? Because the illness of all symptoms are different, you know.
But it's going to change because of global warming. It's
Either that or either the food, you know.
Yeah.
So, and I do assume that if I come to Germany, because Germany is broad, so I may need to use maybe maximum of 20 different remedies. Because it's more or less similar diet, isn't it? You eat the same food and the environment, etc., isn't it? Yeah, so maybe just 20 remedies.
It will do better here.
Yeah, better?
The food is healthier.
Yeah. Today morning I had this
brown bread.
That's lovely. Bread, tea and bread. That is my addiction. My cigarette and wine, you know. Goat cheese. Goat cheese. Yeah, tastes nice. Today in the morning. Yeah. So anyway, I do assume that in Germany I will need maximum of 20 remedies for, and I can maybe treat over 80% of the patients. Unless that 20%, it is the people who went for the holidays and catch some illness in different claim. They brought it here. So for them, I need to use the remedies which I would use in the country of their holiday. Understand? So it is. So it is very important. Yeah. So the illness of the patient, it is dictated by the environment and by what they eat in there. Yes. Yes.
Can it be a combination of the different categories? Can it be a combination of different categories?
So yes, but then it will be ill person. So naturally, you are hot and dry. That is your natural mizaj, healthy point. So if your mizaj falls cold, then when you became ill. So when you come to me, my duty will be to return you back to your healthy point, which is hot and dry. Understand? It could be two separate organs, but overall mizaj is all the time one. So it could be that your heart is choleric, but your brain is, or your lung is melancholic. Yes, it's possible. But then we will have canceric growth, melancholic growth in the lung.
But as a healthy state, you can't be...
No, overall should be all the time one.
Is blood group important in diagnosing illnesses?
I didn't understand you.
Blood group.
Blood group, we don't understand the blood group. For us, it does not make sense. Yeah. Sorry? Yeah. I have to know that. When you come to me, I have to know where are you from. Because depending on that, the strength of my remedy will change. Yes, definitely. So let's suppose that we both have the same mizaj. So you are choleric and I am choleric also. But because I am coming from Africa, so my choleric level is higher than yours. Because your mizaj, if it would be in me, that would be melancholic. Because in Africa, that level of choleric level, heat is considered to be cold. Yeah, I need to know the environment where they are born and grow up. Only then I can diagnose the illness accurately. Yes, yeah. Obviously that will give me some extra clarity, but for me the most important thing, where he has spent most of his life. Yes. Yeah. There is, of course, there is one foundation, one fundamental mizaj, and change of mizaj, most of the time it causes illness. Yeah, so let's suppose that I'm phlegmatic, okay, and then I travel to the Iklim region, which is hot and dry, choleric. So my body straight away gets rid of the phlegm. So it will come out as diarrhea. So what is coming out of my body is phlegm. Because the ethers, the environment forces my body to become dry. Understand? How it can be, in the quickest way, diarrhea. So I release a lot of phlegm. And most of the time, body cannot comprehend a quick change. So quick change in the body, so body will react with pain and illnesses. The organs will not be functioning properly, and most of the time body can recover by itself, but it will take a time. Yes.
How do you explain in your Greek Islamic medicine high blood pressure?
Yeah. So we do have that, yes.
And how do you treat it, high blood pressure?
Yeah, so normally high blood pressure, we call it طغيان الدم. طغيان الدم, it is mixed of blood and yellow bile. We release it normally. We release it and then we cool down the blood system. Yeah.
That makes it, that's for the high blood pressure, which is mixing of two.
Yeah. So for high blood pressure, not the low one. The high one. Yeah, so we call it طغيان الدم.
Sheikh, you mentioned there's no difference between a psychological illness and a physical illness.
All is physical, yes.
But how about a spiritual illness, for example? And they differ, for example, anger or greediness. Is this related?
Yes. So for example, it's very possible that some person does not have a courage, and I will give him remedy and he becomes courageous. It's because of extra amount of black bile in his heart. I have to get rid of the black bile from his heart, heat up his heart. Yes, so yes, of course, we do have that. Yeah, so most of the time, not all the time, most of the time, choleric people, they will have good portion of, so some type of arrogance, which is dictated by this confidence and courage and like, yeah, so can it be treated? Yes, it could be treated. No, I don't know, because even in our Sufi tariqas, some of our mashayikh discipline the students by coping, isn't it? Get rid of like release blood, isn't it? So it's because of this. But there will be some side, like some effect, habit. Because when you get rid of the, let's suppose that you are arrogant because of the extra amount of yellow bile in your body. So now we have two things. One is the actual reason, but then because of that reason, you have developed a habit. So I can cure the reason, but habit, it requires for exercise. If you understand what I mean.
Spiritual training.
Exactly, yes. So you, for example, you do not have a self-confidence, so you do not have a courage. So each time when you go to the dark place, you are afraid. I will heat up your heart, you become courageous, but that habit is still there. For that you need exercise. But the actual reason is gone. Does it make sense? Yes. You promised me to not to do this 5 minute, 10-minute business.
I'm sorry, but
Spiritual and physical.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
we're wondering if we could bring it there.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
Go hand in hand.
I'm very sorry.
No, don't worry. You know, medicine is very important and it's very interesting, you know. And you can talk about it for hours and hours and you will never be done. You will never be done in terms of receiving or delivering, you know. It is just amazing subject. We have so many different types of medicines, okay? Natural medicines. It's very important for us to read what they can offer. Okay, and there is no any non-curable illness. So we have to look for it, for the answers. There are a lot of questions. So one technique, for example, ancient Greek, Islamic technique may not give you the full answer. So maybe you need to look in Chinese technique maybe, or something else, but never lose your hope. Definitely one of the styles of treating will definitely answer all of your questions. Not all, but the questions which what some other technique was unable to answer. But never lose hope. Always there is answer. Yeah.
If someone never becomes ill, this is also not a good sign. I mean, illness can be also a development. Good thing.
Illness is, yes, good, but
And if someone is never ill,
ill, is it possible?
I think there are some people
Who are not, okay. Yeah, interesting example, yes.
Yeah, my father, for example, is homeopath,
Okay.
and he believes that, according to his teacher as well, that if you never have fever, it's not healthy. You should at least once a year have high fever. This is the sign of a healthy body.
I don't know, I cannot comment on it. Yeah. I respect homeopathy, but I don't understand it. Yes. Yes.
do you prepare your remedies from scratch? So like,
Yes.
take the herbs
Unfortunately, no. Unfortunately, no. I do have some reliable suppliers. I buy herbs from them. But definitely it's my weakness, because storing the herb and collecting the herb, all of that will affect on the strength of the plant, of the herb, you know. But because I don't have enough time and it's quite difficult to maintain. But it's one of our aims in our institute. Yeah, so most likely we'll establish some type of garden in the UK where we can get our herbs. It's very important. Yes, it's very important. Yeah, so, but the rest I do live with my patients, yes, from the beginning up to the end. But with the herbs, I don't do that.
when you buy the herbs, you have them on people where they put them in oil or mix.
Depending on the patient. If the condition of the patient requires putting it into the oil, so then oil, or otherwise maybe boiling, or maybe deactivated honey. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, yes, of course, yeah.
Can I say something?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
When its heart is also beating, that means you're still alive. Alive.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And so what came to head, if something will say, Muhammad Rasulullah.
Yeah.
But
Yes.
you know,
Yes.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so
I'm the dervish.
okay, any other question? Yeah, unfortunately, I did not understand your question. Yeah. Okay, that's fine. Yeah. Okay, thank you. Yes, Eddie.
We had a Hakim in Spain, Granada. He passed away some years ago.
Yes.
His name was Jabir, and he studied the whole Andalusian system, and he was treating. And I heard that he used to use the water from the dew.
Yes,
Have you heard about
yeah,
this?
of course, yeah, we do it, yes, yeah.
Yeah.
So the condition of the patient, it dictates which type of water you should use. Yeah. And the least welcome one is the one which is kept in the metallic containers. We don't use that.
So you collect the water in the morning from the...
Some of them. But most of the time it should be spring water.
Okay.
Spring water. Because, metal, so for example, iron? We actually use the iron as a remedy. So means the water which is kept in the iron container, it will have its effect already. So that may harm the illness. So that is a really difficult one.
Is
Yeah,
that
so-
related to Anzalna al-Hadid?
Yes,
eyes
yeah, exactly.
heavenly.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, so normally I use, this, even the plastic is quite harmful, but I have no choice. The spring water, which is sold in the supermarkets, in the plastic, bottles.
yeah.
But at least it is from the, like spring water. Yeah, but, yeah.
You don't have springs near Manchester?
Yeah. Well, I have to try. I'm lazy practitioner, say.
We need helpers to
Yeah.
bring you wood.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Thank you very much. It was very lovely to have this conversation, like chatting and exchanging, like knowledge, like information, etc. Yeah. And you're welcome to the UK. Try to visit us there. Yeah.
Manchester.
Yeah. So
I
thank
think
you very much.
in the one of the letters that we sent around, I put the email address, the website address for the website for the Sina Institute. So if you want to learn more about the college, you can look there.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum.